Right, this is a quick walk around video for a Lexus IS250, and this is the SEL model. I don't normally do the videos here, but unfortunately they're doing some road works and it's quite noisy where I normally do them, so I brought them around. But a lovely looking car, this one. Very clean, beautifully looked after. Unfortunately it's just started raining, which is a shame because I've just cleaned it and now there's specks of rain over it, but I'll do the best I can. Fortunately, I've got to do quite a few of these videos. I can't pick the weather. But just go around the front, all the lights and lenses completely intact. Hardly a stone chip to be seen. I mean, if you look closely, you're bound to find something somewhere. But really, it's extraordinarily clean. Near side of the vehicle here, really crisp in the panel work. The front wing, I can't really see any blemishes on there at all. Looks like the wheels have been recently refurbished by someone because they're very good indeed. Well, the panel work is really clean and crisp. I mean, it's literally been washed off. There's been no polish applied to the vehicle at all. Come down this side here, I can't see any indentations. It looks absolutely mirror smooth in the panel work there. Come on the back again, really very clean again. Just some very light marks where people sort of loaded stuff in and out, but stuff that will literally just polish off. You just got a couple of really tiny marks there. But I'm really nitpicking on it, in all honesty. And then offside the vehicle, as with the near side, just like a mirror down there, and it's such original lovely paint as well from what I can see. But it's rare to find them at any age in this condition. It said there is the odd minor mark which you will pick up on the car, which the video unfortunately can't, so I do recommend people come to see the vehicles and they're there for themselves. But you know, as an example of one, a really lovely example. So coming to the boot area, again, as with the rest of the car, especially the interior, it is an absolutely beautiful condition. Unfortunately, it's such a gloomy, horrible day today. It doesn't do any favours when you do these videos. But trust me, it really is very clean. All tools, everything is in the vehicle as it should be. Let's come to the back of the car now. Door card, all very clean and tidy. All the little wood inlays in beautiful condition. Just show you the back of the seats and the footwell areas. Again, incredibly clean. It hardly looks as though anyone's really sort of sat much in the back of this car. A full set of original Lexus mats. Obviously the black leather interior and the leather work itself is in absolutely fantastic condition. Come to the front now. Driver's door card again, really clean and tidy. Obviously full memory adjustment on these seats on the SEL models. All the switches in beautiful condition. Again, sort of footwell areas, you know, really lovely. Driver's seat and passenger seat again in very good condition for a car this age of mileage. But it is really fabulous, this car. All the wood inlays have a really lovely sort of sheen about them. It's not scratched or marked in anywhere at all. And obviously on these SEL models you get a sunroof as well, which adds a lot of natural light into the car. So inside the car now, the engine's running now. I don't normally have them running on the cold days because there's so much condensation comes through the exhaust, it's hard to see. But the dashboard is absolutely beautiful. It really looks pretty much as new inside here. Obviously you've got the air conditioned and heated seats on there. As I said, all the sort of wood inlays in beautiful condition. All the little recesses have been kept really nicely. Come across to the steering wheel, looks and feels as new in your hand. And obviously got the paddles there if you want to operate the gearbox manually if you so wish. Just a pan in there. It's now got 71,104 miles. I said I'm guilty of, we're just waiting for my new car to arrive. I've been driving this car. I can just vouch for just how beautifully it drives. No warning lights on the vehicle at all on this vehicle either, sorry. Just stopped saying vehicle, haven't I? But all the switch gear, absolutely beautiful. Just to show you, quite often overlooked, owner's manual pack is here and present with the vehicle, as is the original Lexus locking wheel nut key for the car. So finally, just under the engine bay, absolutely beautifully presented by Lexus. These are fantastic engines, incredibly long lasting, and this one's been so well looked after by Lexus, it's almost ridiculous. What will follow this video will be a road test of this very car. Right then, this is a road test video, and this is for a Lexus IS250, and this is the top of the range model, the SEL. This car is registered LA06CVH. Car actually I've been driving for a couple of weeks now while I've been waiting for my new car to arrive, so the mileage has crept up slightly. It's up to literally just over 71,000 now, 71,097 miles. The reason we do the road tests, as I say in all of them, is very simple indeed. We want customers of ours to see our cars in operation prior to people coming to see us. The internet's really good for searching for cars, but clearly the potential to have your time wasted is obvious. Very frustratingly, some garages won't tell you if there's a fundamental problem with the car, which you should have been told about. And that's why we do them. So if there's anything on the vehicle on the road test, I do report it back to you. And as I've done it on many occasions on previous videos, I don't pull any punches on the car at all. Road test videos also done on exactly the same road test route as any prospective buyer will go on. It's lovely quiet country roads around here, so it's, you know, really is stress free, there's very little traffic at all. So just to go through the car for you, I mean, obviously, as you'll know from the advert, you know, this car's had lovely ownership and quite brilliant service history up to this point, and that's absolutely and immediately obvious the very second you sit in the car and drive it away. It feels absolutely as tight as a drum, you know, like a car half its age, half its miles. It really is a fantastic car, this one. But to go into the details for you, I've actually just let you know, I've got the air conditioned seats on, just checking they're working absolutely fine because my backside's freezing, and I'll put the heater on now. Engine the car starts first, push of the button, because obviously it's button starts, keyless start, keyless entry, all working perfectly. Engine starts immediately, settles to a very smooth, very even idle on the vehicle, and it pulls beautifully. Sounds fantastic as well when it's revved, but it's clean revving, sweet, no vibrations, nothing at all from it. It's exactly as you'd expect and hope. Gearbox of the vehicle, very, very, very smooth shifting. So it's just the parking sensors picking up on the hedge. Very, very smooth shifting. You know, it's almost imperceptible in the way it does it. And it's really well matched to the engine. You know, it'd be tempting for Lexus, like lots of manufacturers, to chuck in a smaller engine to gain kind of headline fuel economy figures, not real world, as I stress in many of my videos. But this is just the perfect companion. It's got just the right of power to mean that the gearbox isn't hunting up and down the gears, but the gear change itself and engine absolutely perfect, will not fault them. The heated seat is working rather well as well, so that's all good. Also worth pointing out, no warning lights on the car at all relating to the engine or any other part of the vehicle, so there's nothing on there at all. Driving along now, steering of the vehicle, tight, taut, no vibrations coming through the steering wheel, track's bullet straight, but it just feels incredibly crisp and tight. I said I can't differentiate between this and a new one. It feels, you know, that taut on the road. Likewise, the suspension of the car, very well resolved suspension. You know, you'll hear it going over the bumps as you're meant to, but what I'm not getting any of is any kind of secondary noises permeating into the cabin at all, you know, which is normally things like kind of little rubber bushes that have perished, where, you know, that allows the metal to clank on little drop links, anti-roll bar links, occasionally something more serious like a suspension strut with a bit of movement, but nothing on this, absolutely nothing. It drives beautifully, very, very smooth riding. They've got a really wonderful compromise on this car. You know, it really is serene in the way it just wafts along beautifully. But what it's got also is a kind of a nimbleness to the chassis, sort of a, you know, it's quickish on the steering, not too quick, where it unsettles the car. You know, it's very composed mid-corner, so mid-corner bumps don't throw it off, and it's got an agility, which, you know, is, you know, it's really nice to sort of experience. Coming back to the car itself, in terms of kind of, which is the point of the video, picking up on any issues, just going to try the brakes now, give them a bit of a shove. Yeah, they're really strong, powerful, no vibrations, no kind of pulsing on the brake pedal as it goes up and down, which would suggest kind of disc wear. But, you know, there's no strange noises coming up from the brakes at all. It's, you know, very, very, very solid indeed. Also, driving at speed, you know, it's noticeable just how quiet the car is. Of course, you know, we're in a Lexus, so you'd expect it to be refined, and it certainly is. That could be ruined very easily indeed if you had a, you know, kind of a sunroof seal or windscreen seal or door seal with a tear in it or damaged, and it would allow sort of air to come into the vehicle, a sort of wind hiss. But there's nothing on this. It's very, very, very quiet indeed. Just checking the cruise control function, and that's working absolutely perfectly as well on the vehicle. So, you know, mechanically, genuinely, and I'm not just saying it, this isn't kind of salesman's license, this is genuinely the case. I don't think you'll find a nicer one to drive. It drives exactly as it should. So if you're, you know, looking to come, you know, 20 miles down the road or 300 miles, you know, you will not be wasting your time in terms of the drive of the vehicle. I absolutely assure you of that. Looking around inside the car, it's in lovely condition, really very, very well built, of course. I mean, there's not a hint of a squeak or a rattle or a buzz from the interior trim of the car. Really nice places to sit and drive from as well. Very good driving position. It's not always the case, especially with rear-wheel drive cars. Quite often you'll find the steering wheel sort of slightly to the left or to the right, and your feet pointing in the opposite direction. Not naming any names of certain manufacturers, but we all know who they are. But this is incredibly comfortable. You know, obviously you've got a multi-adjustable seat electrically, and on the SELs you've got 3 memory settings for both driver and passenger seat. You know, obviously, as you know, heated and cooled, all working perfectly. But every switch you press in here has got a beautifully manufactured feel to it. You know, it's precise, it's kind of click in action, and all working perfectly. Air conditioning's pumping out absolutely ice cold air out of the steering as well. Coming across to the main dashboard, binnacle, all the readouts absolutely spot on. Very classy, high quality dashboard on the car. Its beauty is in its simplicity, really. It's just really nice graphics for the kind of the speedo and the rev counter, kind of like it's got a watch-like effect to it. But it all just looks and feels like new. It's, you know, it really is fantastic. You do have also, I should have pointed out, sorry, I do apologise, you've got these paddles on the steering wheel, which if you want to, you can change up using them, or down on the side using them. Really handy if you're going to overtake something. So if there's a tractor in front or dropped it down to third there, blast past, change up. It just means that you're in control of when the gearbox is going to change. The gearboxes unfortunately haven't got eyes, they don't know what's coming or not, and it always wants to change up for economy as soon as it possibly can, which can be quite a startling thing when you're halfway through an overtaking manoeuvre, because you then got to try and kick down again, and you know, you're left sometimes floundering a little bit, but with the paddles you can override that, and they're all working beautifully, and the actuation of them is really nice as well. I mean, if you're looking at the Lexus, you know, as most people are, I mean, either you're kind of a Lexus fan, so you know it's a given really, but quite often, you know, people will cross shop these with other cars of sort of similar ilk, in terms of kind of premium brands. So you're looking at BMW, Mercedes, Audi, you know, are the main players, and they're all good cars in their own right. I mean, the one thing I'll say about all of them straight away, this by country mile is the most reliable of all of them. which would count for absolutely nothing, of course, if it didn't drive nicely. And I think it drives as well as any if you take into account what you're buying the car for. If you want an out-and-out sports car, you don't mind a rigid, hard, unyielding ride, a 3 Series is a better car, no doubt about it. It's got better balance at the limit, but unless you're driving it around a racetrack, you're never going to find it out, or you're a complete hooligan. But they're just too uncomfortable on roads like this around here. I've driven them and they just crash into the slightest bumps. The Mercedes is most similar to this in terms of its ride, very smooth riding, very comfortable cars, the Mercedes, but they're just a little bit dull when it comes to kind of the handling of the vehicles, in my opinion, at least anyway. The Audis, I've said before, I just don't get them. I don't get them at all. I think they're very much a one-dimensional car. They're relatively comfortable, but the handling is just dull. It's really nose heavy. They can't abide the things. But the most important thing when you're owning a car is owning it, running it, and this is where this car beats them all by a country mile. They're easily the best built and most reliable of all of them in the real world of motoring. 10 plus years down the road with 60-70,000 miles on the clock, none are as well built or as reliable as this. It's as simple as that. The point of the video was, as I said, to pick up any issues on the car. I can't find anything on this, nor did I particularly expect to, given the history of the vehicle with Lexus. It's traffic announcers on. However, if I've missed something on the video, it's not by intentional design. Please, do give us a call, and I'll happily answer any questions you might have.